The evening did not fall all at once. It softened, stretching across the sky like a slow exhale, gold fatting into blue, blue deepening into something quieter, heavier. From the glass walls of Laurent headquarters, the city below looked distant, almost unreal. Lights flickered on one by one, like stars rising from the ground instead of the sky. Inside, everything remained controlled, predictable. Seraphine Laurent stood by the window, her fingers lightly brushing against the cool glass. Her reflection stared back at her in perfect posture, composed expression, untouched by the weight of the day. Nothing ever showed, nothing ever could. Behind her, the office was silent. The last meeting had ended nearly half an hour ago, yet its presence lingered, such as numbers, expectations, voices layered with pressure disguised as politeness. She closed her eyes briefly, just a second, then opened them again. That was enough. It always had to be. Your next appointment has been moved to tomorrow morning. The voice came from behind her comm, steady and familiar. Seraphine didn't turn. I heard. A pause followed, quiet but deliberate. You've been standing there for 8 minutes. A faint breath of amusement almost escaped her. Only Arden would notice something like that. Is that part of your report, Captain Vale? She asked. No, Arden replied after a moment. Just an observation. Seraphine turned then. Arden stood exactly where she always did, 2 steps behind, dressed in black, composed and unreadable. Her presence was constant like gravity, always there, never intrusive, never absent, reliable, distant. I'm done for today, Seraphine said. I'll have the car prepared. No. The word was soft but firm. Arden's gaze sharpened slightly. No. I'll walk. That's not advisable. I didn't ask for advice. The air shifted, subtle, precise. Arden held her ground. Then I'll accompany you. Seraphine met her eyes. No, you won't. A flicker of tension passed through Arden's posture, barely visible, but real. Ms. Laurent. I'll be fine. Arden didn't like that answer. It showed in the stillness, in the tightness held just beneath control. Understood. It wasn't agreement, it was restraint. And Seraphine knew the difference. She left without another word, the private exit closing behind her with a quiet click. Outside, the air felt different. Cooler, unfiltered, alive. Seraphine inhaled slowly, letting the city settle around her instead of pressing against her. No footsteps followed. No presence lingered behind her. For the first time in weeks, she was alone. The boutique district greeted her with warmth. Soft golden lights spilled from shop windows, illuminating fabrics that shimmered under gentle bulbs. Music drifted from nearby cafes, playing low, human, unguarded. People moved around her without hesitation, without recognition, without expectation. And that felt unfamiliar. She slowed her steps simply because she could. Her fingers brushed across racks of clothing as she stepped into a boutique. Silk slid beneath her touch, are smooth, light, real. She paused at a dress. Ivory, simple, flowing. Her reflection met her in the mirror, and for a moment, she imagined wearing it somewhere that didn't require perfection. Somewhere she didn't have to calculate every movement, every word, every breath. Her lips parted slightly, then closed. The moment passed. Beautiful choice. Seraphine turned to find a shop attendant smiling gently. It would suit you. Perhaps, Seraphine replied. You can try it on. A small pause, maybe another time. Of course. She stepped back outside, and the city welcomed her again. And this time, she decided to let it. Back at Laurent headquarters, Arden noticed. Not dramatically, no alarms. Just absence. She stood in the security room, eyes scanning the monitors with practiced precision. Routine, controlled, until something didn't align. Seraphine's office was dark. That alone wasn't unusual. But the corridors were empty. No movement, no escort, no record. Arden's gaze narrowed as she pulled up another feed, then another. Nothing. Her hand moved to her earpiece. Status on Ms. Lawrence movement. A brief crackle followed. Negative, Captain, no visual. Arden's jaw tightened. Check lower exits. Already clear. Silence stretched, not long but long enough. Arden ended the call, picked up the device again, then set it down. That wasn't normal. For months, Seraphine had been a contract, an assignment, a responsibility defined by precision and distance. Nothing personal, nothing emotional. Arden had been good at that. She was good at that. But something had shifted. Late nights the offices are quiet, the rain against glass, Seraphine standing at the window, Arden standing 2 steps behind. Always 2, never closer. Arden exhaled slowly, irrelevant. The word came under her breath are sharp and corrective. Then she moved without worry about this world. Minutes later, she stepped out into the city. Everything changed the moment she began searching. Every shadow mattered. Every movement registered. Every reflection demanded attention. This wasn't just protocol. She reached the boutique district, warm lights, soft voices and life continuing as if nothing had changed. Her eyes scanned the street, left, right. Glass reflections flickered her faces, movement and none of them attract her attention, but then she saw her. Through the boutique window, Seraphine. Alive, unharmed, unaware. Relief hit first, sharp, immediate, almost disorienting. Arden stopped, didn't step forward, didn't interrupt. She watched. Seraphine moved slowly between racks of dresses, her fingers brushing fabric lightly, thoughtfully. There was no tension in her posture, no guarded distance, no invisible weight pressing her down. This was not the Seraphine Arden knew. This was someone unguarded. Of course, Arden murmured quietly. She should have stepped in, re-established protocol, restored distance. Instead, she stayed. Seraphine turned slightly. Her reflection shifted and their eyes met. She froze not because of fear of Arden, but at recognition can be seen through her face. A heartbeat passed, then another. Seraphine stepped outside, the door chiming softly behind her. Captain Vale, she said, her voice calm but quieter than usual. Arden didn't move. You didn't inform me. No accusation, just fact. I didn't want to. Arden's jaw tightened. That's not how this works. No, Seraphine said softly. That's exactly how it works. Silence settled between them. I needed space. You don't get space, you get security. And you don't get to decide that for me. Arden stepped closer towards Seraphine, and observing her without too closer than supposed to. For months, she said quietly, you haven't stepped outside without informing me. Seraphine held her gaze, and for months I haven't been alone. The truth landed between them, heavy and unavoidable. Arden exhaled slowly. You scared me. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Seraphine blinked, surprised. I checked every camera, Arden continued, quieter now. Every exit, you were gone. Seraphine's chest tightened. I'm here. I know. They stood closer now, too close for protocol. You shouldn't be alone out here, Arden said, though the words lacked force. Then why didn't you come sooner? Seraphine asked softly. Arden hesitated, because I wasn't sure if I was allowed to. That changed something. You're always allowed to protect me, Seraphine said. That's not what I meant. Silence lingered. Seraphine stepped closer, closing the distance deliberately. Then, what did you mean? Arden held her gaze, didn't retreat. I don't know where the line is anymore. Seraphine's breath caught. Between what I'm assigned to do, Arden continued, voice lower now, and what I. She stopped. What you what? Seraphine pressed. Arden didn't look away. What I want to do. The silence fell heavy between them, like electric. Seraphine's voice softened. Which one brought you here tonight? Arden answered without hesitation. Both. Something shifted. Irreversible. Rain began to fall that evening. It is soft at first, then steady. Neither of them moved because stepping away now would mean pretending nothing had changed. And neither of them were ready to lie.